Okay, we are in Shaar Bay's Parak Yud Daled, finishing it off, and of course I want to go on another tangent, but I noticed, as I'm sure you did, that the Nefesh Hachaim over and over again refers to the tefillah of Chana in explaining how tefillah should be. In other words, the davenology of the Nefesh Hachaim is very based in the tefillah's Chana, and the tefillah's Chana, of course, was the very first story in Shmuel Aleph, where Chana married to Elkanah, and the mother of Shmuel, but she was childless, and she was davening for a child, and her tefillah was successful, and she gave birth to Shmuel Hanavi. Shmuel Hanavi was Moshe v'Aaron b'Choy Hana v'Shmuel b'Karei Shmoi. So he was the, which I want to explain that pasuk, but he was the actually the Rosh Kol HaNaviim, the first Navi in the Tkufa of the Naviim was Shmuel Hanavi, and it's a fascinating thing. I start to look at it like why. I mean, we have Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, David HaMelech, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Tikkun Shachar, Tikkun Mincha, Tikkun. Why Chana? Like, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Chana, a great tzadikah, but it's ma'anyen to me, and I think there's an insight to be learned from the fact that all Hilchos Tefillah, just about all of Hilchos Tefillah, and inyanim of tefillah in the Nefesh Hachaim and in Shulchan Aruch come from Chana. So why Chana? Why Chana? I mean, her tefillah was better. What was the nekuda of Chana?
Is there a difference between, let's say, the technique and the actual?
Okay. So first of all, that's part of it for sure. Let me just show you in the Parak Aleph. Just very, very quickly, I just listed the psukim that Chazal learned from, but you see the different lashonos of tefillah, because by Chana, the Tanakh says, let's just learn a little bit. It says that by Chana, V'hi moras nefesh. She was moras nefesh. But moras nefesh, I mean, she was embittered. Vatispalel al Hashem. Listen to the lashonos here. Vatispalel al Hashem. She davened al Hashem, which is not el Hashem. And from this, Agav, the Gemara learns that Chana hitiach dvarim klape mala, like Eliyahu Hanavi. Hitiach dvarim klape mala al Hashem, meaning that she didn't just, excuse me, she didn't just daven to Hashem, but she davened on Hashem. She had actually complaints, tainas, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. She came to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with tainas. Why don't you give me a kid? It's not right that you're not giving me a child. Al Hashem. Nikan. From here we learn that Chana was hitiach dvarim klape mala, which is not normally the correct way to daven, and nevertheless she was matzliach v'tispal al Hashem ubachai sivke, and she cried. It was her. And then let's skip over to a pasuk, just for the sake of going quickly here in pasuk Yud Beis, v'haya ki hir b'sal lehispalel lifnei Hashem. She davened a lot. Agav. Here basal lehispalel, she davened a lot. I mean, what does that mean? She davened a lot. She added more tefillahs than she should have added. And the Gemara learns that from here we see that you're allowed to daven tefillas ne'ilah on Yom Kippur. You're allowed to have an extra tefillah on Yom Kippur. Why? T'chsiv ki here basal lehispalel. It's the lesson of the Yerushalmi. Ve'eli shomer espia, and Eli is watching her carefully and watching her mouth. Everybody knows the story. And then it says in Pasuk Yud Gimel, V'chana hi midaberes al liba. And Chana was Medaberes al Liba. And this Chazal say you have to have Kavanah. We're going to learn the Gemara inside. But Medaberes al Liba. So here we have a few things that she was doing. Vatispalel al Hashem. Bachai Tifke. She was crying. She Hirbasali Spalel. Now Medaberes al Liba. Another thing. Sfaseha Na'is. Her lips were moving. Another important halacha. Bekola Lo Yishameya. And her lips moving, no voice coming out. As I said last week, it's like you're watching somebody talking on the cell phone in the car. They're moving, no sound. Eli thought that was crazy. She must be drunk. Bashma, if I'm allowed to make this diuk, that's not how Eli davened. Or maybe that's not the way Moshe Rabbeinu davened. This was apparently of Chana, that she davened with her lips and not with her. And from here the Gemara learns, by the way, that if you're mispalo aser lahagbiya koila b'tfilas, you're not allowed to daven loud. Not allowed to daven Shemona Esrei. We're talking everything's about Shemona Esrei here. We're not talking about daven Shemona Esrei out loud, although you have to move your lips, and according to the Shulchan Aruch, you have to even hear yourself. But nevertheless, nobody else is allowed to hear you. It's ad kedei kach. The Zohar says that if somebody else hears your tefillah, Hashem doesn't hear your tefillah. So Eli gave her musar and said, "What are you drinking so much? Got to get off the bottle." But Eli ad basai tish takorin, hasirius yenech me'olayich. In other words, she was a maras ruach. So it could be that he figured, she took to the bottle. Vatan Chana, and here's the next pasuk Tesvav. Vatan Chana v'tomer lo yadoni. Ishak shas ruach anoichi v'yayin m'sheichar lo shasisi. I didn't have anything to drink. And here's the lashon ve'eshboich es nafshi lifnei Hashem. Eshboich es nafshi. Are you going to be able to repeat all these? Lisharnus. Eshboich es nafshi lifnei Hashem. New thing. Eshboich es nafshi. What does it mean? Well, this could be a translation. So working translation.
Pour out my heart.
Nafshi. Nafshi. It's not a lave. It's not a neshama. Yeah, by nefesh. Like b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol v'yadecha. The Nefesh Hachaim learns from this pasuk. The Gemara doesn't say that la'avdei b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshechem. That you have to have ki'ilu siluk haguf legamri. Siluk me haguf legamri. That's what the Nefesh Hachaim says. B'chol nafshechem, just like it says by the first parsha of Kriyas Shema. B'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, afilu noitelas nafshecha, like Rabbi Akiva, afilu noitelas. B'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshechem is a similar taich, and the pshat of it is b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, that afilu noitelas nafshecha, that there has to be siluk haguf, except for the fact, and this is very important in these two prakim of the Nefesh Hachaim, that your lips have to be moving, which b'pashtus would be a stira b'nei ubei. If you're b'suluk b'naguf, so you're in a trans. Thank you. That's the word. I did say the word. Yeah, you're gone. No, you can't be gone if you're moving your lips. So that means you're supposed to be part of Gashmias. So use your voice.
Nafshecha, I assume that nafshecha, you're like most of your whole nefesh, like your whole being. So
right.
With my body, so therefore with my lips.
Yeah, but then why aren't you moving around? You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to move. You're not allowed to. You have to be completely besuluk milaguf.
My belief, my identity, everything's like almost like tomarna. I don't have to be moving to express that, but like.
Yeah, Chayrim bring the during the Tach V'Tat. Those were the Holominsky massacres that took place. What was it, 1656 or something like that? So they came into a couple of kehillos in Poland. I'm not talking about. This was before Hasidim and before Misnagdim and before 1656. So 1648 started, but the story, Tach was 1648? Yeah. Okay, 1648, thank you, sorry. It was a 7-year thing, but Tach was But with the story, the massacre of Zachadat, which was on Erev Shabbos Parshas Chukas, the Gedolim said that that should be a Titus because that should be a Titus because the Zois Chukas HaTorah, the Targum said Dahi Gzeirus Eraisa. It's a day of Gzeirus, Erev Shabbos Parshas Chukas. And the Gedolim lift off a number of Gzeirus, which were like paraduma, things that nobody was able to understand. That's the point with Mises Hatzadikim. But one of the famous stories that came down is that they came into the Beis Medrash of Reb Shamshin Ba'astrapol, who was not a Hasidic Rebbe as he was made because there was no Hasidim yet, but the Hasidim adopted him like Rabbi Yodas and Eibschitz as the Rebbe Reb Shamshin Ba'astrapol. He was before all that, and they actually, he was davening Shemona Esrei, and they actually, stabbed him with a spear while he was davening Shemona Esrei, the Cossacks, and which would be totally impossible for us to believe if we didn't just go through this ourselves in Har Nof, if we didn't see this same phenomenon, like crazy phenomenon, like a holy Yid is davening, they say. But the point was that he kept davening and finished Shemona Esrei, and he died davening Shemona Esrei. So it's like it didn't. And the other Gedolim that were there, the Tzaddikim that were there, that survived somehow, they said it was he was Mesulach min haguf lagamri. He didn't. It was like from Chana that she davened with Mesiras Nefesh. But eshpoiches nafshi lifnei Hashem. He wasn't there. He wasn't there physically. Okay, we'll talk about that. Let's go further in Pasuk Tezayin. Al titei nasamas. Every one of these things are very, very important. Every one of these lashonos. I don't have the sefer and I didn't see the sefer, but I'm familiar with the fact that Rav Pinkas, alav shalom, wrote a sefer on all of these lashonos of tefillah and explained the difference to them. It's supposed to be a very good sefer. I just didn't get a chance to see it. But in Pasuk Tezayin, Al titei nasamas lifnei bas blial. Ki meiroiv sichi v'chasi dibarti adhena. And Chazal say this is a lashon of tefillas. Vayetze Yitzchak lasuach basada sicha. So that's a different thing. And in Pasuk Yud Zayin, Pasuk after Pasuk, Vayan Eli Vayarmin Lechi L'Shalom V'Lehei Yisrael Yitein Shelosech, Hashem will answer you, Asher Sha'alta Ibo. That's the first time we have. He'll answer the She'ela which you were Shoyal. So there's a She'ela, there's a Tefillah, there's a Tarubais ala Kadosh Baruch Hu, there's a Mesiras Nefesh, there's the movement of the lips, V'Kollel Lo Yishamea. There's the Riboy Tefillah, which we learn Ne'ilah from, extra Tefillah. If we move over to Pasuk Chavav, V'Tomer, she says, Bi Adoni, Chei Nafshecha Adoni, Ani Ha'isha, Hanitzeves Imcha Bazeh. She stood. From here, we learn that you have to stand while you're down. Amida. Which is the correct way of calling it, because Shemona Esrei doesn't make much sense anymore. So, Amida, Banitzeves, Imcha Bazeh, Lehispalel El Hashem. Again, to be mispalel, as famous words, El Hanar Hazeh Hispalalti, right? This is the child, this is after. El Hanar Hazeh Hispalalti, V'yited Hashem Li Ashelasi Asher Sha'alta Mi'imai. V'yitin Hashem li ashelasi asher sha'alti me'imai. And then she said, V'gam anoichi hishiltihu la'Hashem. Now this is interesting. She played on the word she'ela. She'ela means a question, or she'ela means to borrow something. A shoyel. Shoyel shaloi midas. In this case it means to lend. To lend. In every case. Right. Well, the two things. I was Shoel, and then you were Shoel, the child. So,
No, only Mashiach. I I lend as much.
Hashem is the borrower. Is it Shaar?
Right.
That's right.
He lent me a kid.
Yeah.
He is the lender. He lent me a kid. Like, in other words, you could think you have a kid, and it's a gift. It's not a gift, it's a loan. Gam anochi hi shall tihu la Hashem kol hayomim asher haya hu shaul la Hashem vayishtachu sham la Hashem. That's and then her tefillah. That's all Hakdama. Vatispalel Chana vatoymar olatz libi b'Hashem Rama karni b'Hashem rochav pi alai vai ki sabachti b'shuasecha mikan. That she had simcha the whole time, even though it says she was a Maris Ruach. Ein kodesh kashem kein biltecha vein surka lekenu al tarbu tadabru gavoya. And she goes on and she davens, and it worked. And later on in Parak Beis, vayelech Elkanah v'anar hoya meshores es Hashem el espnei Eli HaKohen. She sanctified him and made him holy. So this is, I'm marich on this because this is, not only does it have all these interesting lashodas of tefillah from which everyone from the Gemara on learns from, but beyond that, this seems to be the tefillah of tefillahs. This is the ultimate tefillah, and that's why we learn from it. In other words, to look deeper than the fact of this diuk and that diuk and this lashon and that lashon, this seems to be the ultimate tefillah. I just did a copy of my Yalkut Shimoni. Vatispalo Chana, listen to this, Mikan, Anulaimdim Shenashim Chayavos B'Tefillah. Okay, that's one important limud. Shekain Chana Haisa Mispaleles, listen, Yud Ches Brachos. She davened Shemon Esrei. Rana, I'm going to go through this quickly. Rabba, what?
She didn't do the Malshini.
Right. Rama Karni B'Hashem Magin Avram. Hashem Mei Misu Machaye. That's lashon of Chana. Machaye Amesim. Ein Kadosh Hashem, she said. Nokel HaKadosh. Kikel Deos Hashem Atachoinen. Niksholim Ba'avoinam Izruchayel Haroitza B'Tshuva. Moirid Sha'ol Vayal, she said. Hamar B'Lisleach. Moirid Sha'ol Vayal. Hamar B'Lisleach. Hashem forgives us. Sabachti B'Shua Secha. Goyel Yisrael. Yeshua. Goyel Yisrael. B'Kibi B'Yafer Dol. Roy Feicholim. Sveim Belechem Mivarech Hashonim. First of all, the ingenuity of Chazal. The ingenuity of Chazal. It's so clear. Ragli Chasidav Yishmar B'Kabetz Nidchei Abba Yisrael. Hashem Yadin Afsei Oretz, all her Lashonis, Oyev Tzedakah U'Mishpat. Hashem Yadin, Oyev Tzedakah U'Mishpat. U'Rishayim B'Choshech Yidbu, she said, Machnei Azedim. No, Machnei, yeah.
That was a later edition.
Yeah. V'yitein oiz l'malkoi boinei Yerushalayim. Vayoram Karen Mashiach, she said, Es Tzemach David. Ein Tzur Kelokeinu, she said, Shebei Tavila. Al Tarabu Tadabru Gavaya Sha'isach Levada B'Yira Navoid. Yetze'etzak B'Pichem Atoiv Shimcha L'chono Elohaidois. So she said, and I thank you, that's L'chono Elohaidois. Yitein oiz l'malkoi. Oisei Hashalom, I give koach to the Oisei Hashalom, Harei, Shmoina, Esrei, Brachos, Shehispalala. Gavaldik. It's a Gavaldik Chiddush in Chazal. This is in the Yalkut Shimoni in Shmuel, which I just really, frankly, just stumbled upon. I didn't know this. But the Yalkut Shimoni and pay.
Hashem gave it to you, you didn't stumble.
No, okay, I stand. I'm trying to be humble.
You're doing a good job.
The humble
By the way, the
stumble.
kids we're learning from this that we don't know how to daven. Our davening.
Our Shmona Esrei, not only should we daven Shmona Esrei, like Chana daven Shmona Esrei, but it's mashma to me that the whole tikkun of Shmona Esrei, l'sakein Shmona Esrei brachos, this is the first time we did it. Moshe Rabbeinu davening Shmona Esrei, nor is there any Chazal. I looked and couldn't stumble upon a Chazal which tell us that Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David, Shlomo, anybody daven Shmona Esrei, the Shmona Esrei that we, and it's exact, it's meduyik that she was mechaven to Yud Ches L'shonos, which are b'diuk our L'shonos, so the Ruach HaKodesh of the, I can't even say Chachma, but the Ruach HaKodesh of the Anshe Knesset HaGdolah that took the Rosh HaMitpalalim or Mispalalis. This tefillah, Chana's tefillah, Chana. By the way, what does Chana mean? Einoi loshen Chazal. Einoi ela loshen tachanunim. Means tefillah. Add some words.
Which pasuk is the Yalkut? It's on the
Pay. Oh, it's on Vatispalo Chana. But it's.
You said that she was mechaveres to them, but maybe it's the opposite. Maybe
It could be the opposite. I'm just saying we don't ein lanu makor for Shemona Esrei brachas. So finally, I'm wondering, like, how did Chazal know? I've actually.
may learn from her tefillah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I said. I've been asking. Something careful. I've been asking for the last few weeks. I didn't ask it too loud because I don't know the answer, but I've been asking, like, ma pitom, these Shemona Esrei brachas. And the chidush that Chazal, even in the Zohar, speak about that, and I want to get to it in a second. Let me just get to it. Just another nekuda that Chazal saying in the Yerushalmi that the tefillah of Rosh Hashanah is 9 brachas, not like Shemona Esrei and not like Shabbos. It's 9 brachas. Now, so the Yerushalmi asks, how did they know to be masakin 9 brachas for Rosh Hashanah? It's a random number. Mipnei tisha azkaros shebetfilas Chana. She said Hashem's name. So they understood, and so look what she did here. Yeah. A ne'ilah that we learned from her, and you have Tisha Askar. It mashma. I'm just mashmois hatvarim is that you cannot go anywhere. You can't budge in tefillah without Chana. You need to have, not that she did everything, but I seriously believe that the pshat is that that's how we know. Minayin shemispalim teisha, lashon the Gemara. Minayin shemispalim teisha b'Rosh Hashanah mechanu. But it wasn't Rosh Hashanah. Okay? So.
Is this because she was answered? What if she wasn't answered?
Well, I didn't say any because we still have to talk about why because. I didn't say any because. I'm just saying the Metzias, Litvish. Like, this is the Metzias. She was answered, so was Sarah Imenu answered.
So the truth, the fact that it's Sarah on the first day of Rosh Hashanah might not just be...
Nice, very nice. I'll just tell you one more thing before we...
The Gemara is Gemara Brachas, that's it.
So there's a Gemara in Brachas, there's a number of Gemaras, Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph, actually. The Gemara says, I just read you from a long Gemara, but the Brisa says, Tanu Rabbanan HaMispal Tzarech Sheyechaven Es Liboy LaShomayim. Chiddush. The Chiddush is not that you have to have Kavanah. The Chiddush is Sheyechaven Liboy LaShomayim. Where you're Mechaven Liboy, and what this the Gemara seems to explain, that I'm in Shamayim when I'm davening. Like, where your mind is. You are where your mind is, where your Chavana is. You're putting yourself, it's not so much only, and I'm stressing the only, that you're bringing the Shemayim here, but you're actually putting yourself in Shemayim. The Nefesh Hachaim says in a few lines that we're going to learn, probably on Sunday, that the Gemara says when you're Mispalel, you should be Liboy Lamala Ve'enav Lamata. So there's this kind of like very cool move where Einav Lamala, Liboy Lamala, so I'm Oimed Lifnei Kodesh HaKadoshim, and Einav Lamata, but I'm also part of this world, which is the hesber of your lips have to move, something like you were saying. It's the hesber of why your lips have to move, because you still have to be part of this world. I wrote
Why Einav?
Why Einav? That's a good question. I was just going to say, I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's Farbrengens. And I thought at the time, just a Musar Haskell, that I didn't understand a word of what he was saying. I just went as a religious ceremony, religious exercise. I went, but I mean, here and there, you understand. But I was a kid, I was 13, But I remember being told that, the Rebbe had, so I became like I'm not much of a Lubavitcher. I'm an embarrassment to them. but I do have a tremendous amount of haracha, because to see a Talmid Chacham speak for 5 or 6 hours straight every Shabbos, pure Torah, and it was just an amazing thing. And now, when I'm older and I actually read through the Sikha, it's like he actually really said something. He wasn't blabbling. He wasn't telling Maisalach. I mean, he was really, Diyukim and Rashi and this and that. But then, usually once in every Farbrengen, he would say a mimer. So a mimer, if you think you don't understand the Sikha is like a Torah, regular Torah. But a mimer, Hasidic Torah, let's say. But a mimer is already his chidushim in Kabbalah. That was the Rebbe's chidushim in Kabbalah, and they had a special niggin that they sang, the mimer niggin before he said the mimer, and he said the mimer with a different niggin. It was, in other words, it wasn't sicha, it was mimer. And but anyways, I just remember as a kid that I was told that you'll notice that whenever the Rebbe says a mimer, he takes the tablecloth in front of him. He was on this big table with everybody around, and he wraps it around his hand in order to be makusher to the Olam Hagashmi. Like he would fly away if it wasn't for this. I'll just tell you what I was told as a kid. But just on that note, to move amongst Gedolim, so like the great benefit of age is I got to see these like really, really great people. But your brother, Rabbi Bluth, it's your brother, right? So Rabbi Bluth is in Los Angeles right now, and he spoke in the Kollel. So I listened to the Shiur they give the Kollel. I have a son in that Kollel. So I said, we have to hear this Shiur, and he spoke about Rav Moshe Feinstein, who was his Rebbe. So the Rav Moshe Feinstein. So he made the point that actually a point which I think many people understand, the easy point, and that is that Rav Moshe taught us all of us Americans, and perhaps all of Western society, how to be Jewish in America. Like we know how to be Jewish in Poland and Hungary, but we didn't know how to be Jewish in America. And he taught us how to be Jewish in America. Like what do we do about the conservative movement? What do we do about machitzas? What do we do about Kollel Yisrael? What do we do about, besides, the volumes and volumes of unbelievable scholarship. Rabbi Bluth said that he could have a hasaga, even though and the tremendous brain power of Rav Moshe, because you could possibly understand that there's somebody who was so smart, but he said Rav Moshe's lave was so big he had no hasaga. He said he can't even be basig the lave. Why am I telling you this? Besides Rabbi Bluth is here, but why am I telling you this? He said that really Kabbalistically, he said that Rav Moshe took the Olamos Elyonim and he brought it into a place of the what was considered then the lowest part of the Grashmius world, the most depraved part, the place that was void of North America at that time, where it was ad kedei kach, the Gedolim said, don't go there, it's like going to hell to go to, but he took the Shabbai, but he brought it to the Aretz. I don't know his background, I don't know how Kabbalistic he was, but that was exactly what he did. My haskama. That was exactly what Rav Moshe was doing. He was bringing, and Lubavitcher Rebbe and the Gedolim, everyone in their own different way, that's what they were doing. They were applying something which was almost shamaimi and atzili to something which was down, and therefore brought up a whole ma'aser. So let me just tell you two things before I dismiss you. The Gemara says in Lamed Aleph, Brachas Lamed Aleph, Amar Rav Hamnuna, and this is more on a halachic level, Kama hilchasa gavrata ika lemishma mehane kroi de Chana. Look how many halachas you can learn from the psukim of Chana, 6 halachas. There are 6 halachas which go through all of Hilchas Tefillah. I think it's 6. First of all, quickly, v'chana hi medaberes al liba mikan lemispal tzishorchi chavenes libai. Raks v'seh noise mikan lemispal shiachtoich b'svasav. Chiddush of Chana, they have to move your lips. Kollel lo yishameya, you didn't hear a voice. Mikan lemispal shalei yashmiya v'asir lagbiya kollel b'tfilasi. You're not allowed to raise your voice. Ayach shaveh eli l'shikoira. So what? What's wrong with being shikar? Where's the lav? So she was shikr. What's the big deal? Mikan shah shikur asr li spalel. Get drunk all you want, but don't daven while you're drunk. That's all. Vayomer eleha Eli ad masai tish takaron. Mikan, Eli gave her musar. From here we learn Mikan leroya davar b'chaverei she'enoi hagun tzorech lo yichichai. You have to tell them. That's not a halacha in tefillah. That's halacha in musar. So the Magen Avram says that the fact that this is in this Gemara is a raya that if you see somebody davening wrong, you have to tell them. Dafka. The Magen Avram. So these are the halachas of Hilchos Tefillah. But let me just make one extremely important point, and that's this, just to try to explain why Chana was the. If you go further in the Gemara, that what I just read to you is Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. If you go to Lamed Aleph Amud Beis, the Gemara is medayik in this. Vatoymar, Vatidar Neder, Vatoymar. She made a neder and she said, Hashem tzvakos. Imroi tire ba'ani amosecha, uschartani v'loi sishkach es amosecha, v'nasato la'amoscha zera anoshim, unsativ l'Hashem kol yemei chayav, I will give him to Hashem kol yemei chayav, u'moira lo yala aroisha. Says the Gemara that this is the first time Hashem tzvakos. Hashem tzvakos. Reading here a quote from the Gemara, it's not an exact quote, but Shem HaKodesh has a nisker kan l'rishayna b'mikra. The first place ever in Tanakh where the word tzvakos is used is right here. You look at the Gemara, that's what the Gemara says. This is the first time Hashem tzvakos.
First time Kodesh. First time it's just Kodesh, right? It's just called.
Where?
Called Tzivos, all Bnei Yisrael.
Litzivosam. Litzivosam, yeah. So what is, which brings us to the translation. What does Hashem tzvakos mean? Always translated as the Lord of hosts. Like, what the heck? Yeah, it was like the head waiter. What is the Lord of hosts? It's capital H.
A host of means a lot of.
Okay. Hashem tzvakos. I also want to point out that it's not true. V'taymer Hashem tzvakos, not the first time, because at the very beginning of the parak, notably, and this is actually the first time where it's talking about Hashem, it says Va'Allah Ha'ish, talking about Elkanah, in Pasuk Gimel. That's already in Pasuk Yud Aleph. Pasuk Gimel, Va'Allah Ha'ish Hahu Me'irai Miyamim Yamima Lishtachavos Lizbayach La Hashem tzvakos b'shiloi. Hashem tzvakos b'shiloi v'sam shnei b'nei Eli Chafni u'Pinchas Kohanim l'Hashem. So tzvakos was part of this story already. Hashem tzvakos, but it wasn't used in tefillah. So she was the first one. Apparently, that's what the Gemara means. But it's an interesting that it's not used this way either earlier. Later on, it's used a lot. David HaMelech uses it all the time. Only used regarding people. So what does Hashem tzvakos really mean? The Lord of hosts. So tzvakos is kichol tzva shamayim l'cho mishtachavim. So tzva shamayim, the tzava. Hashem has his tzava, malachim, let's say. There's many malachim, but there's a certain group of malachim, or certain groupings of malachim, which are called tzivos Hashem. Right? Hashem tzvakos. Don't think that you're davening ever to any of these malachim, asur, but you're davening to Hashem tzvakos. You're davening to the Hashem, but it's interesting that shem in Shulchan Aruch and Yeridea is the name. The word tzvaos is kodesh. You have to say tzvakos. You're not supposed to say tzvaos, even though it's like you would say Hashem Adam, or Hashem. He's the Hashem of people. You wouldn't say Kenosh. You'd say Enosh. But when it comes to this, in other words, it's since the Hashras Hashchina is with the Tzivei Hashem, so it becomes Adarabah when attached to Hashem. Somehow it becomes Hashem Kodesh, which is a very interesting phenomenon unto itself. So I think this Tzvakos that Chana was the first one to daven using that Shem Hashem Tzvakos, and that was what Eli HaKohen and Elkanah rather, was Ba'ala Ha'ish Hahu, Elkanah, Me'iroi Miyamim Lishtachos Lisbayach LaHashem Tzvakos B'Shilai. It seems like he was doing a different avodah than Korban LaHashem, which you have in the whole sefer Vayikra. Vayizbuchu LaHashem, never Hashem Tzvakos. So, look, I'm not just trying to be humble. I am humbled. I really just can say a svara, but I want to say the svara. I'm sure there's much more to it, and Hashem, I hope I'm right. But you know what was unique about the Tfilas Chana? Not that she had a kid. She had a Navi. And not that she had a Navi, but she was Poseach. She opened up the Tkufas Hanavim. Chana gave birth to the whole period of Nevuah. Moshe, Kipol Torah Misinai, Masr Yeshua, Yeshua L'Skenim, Zkenim L'Neviim, and Neviim L'Anshe Knesses Hagar. Meaning, the Neviim were the segue between the Zkenim, Moshe, Yeshua, the Zkenim, and the Anshe Knesses Agdola. The segue between Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh. The segue between Torah coming down and us bringing up Torah and learning Torah. In between there was the Nevi'im. So when you talk about the Tfilas Chana, what we're talking about is the birth of Nevuah, as we know it. What's the difference between the Nevuah of Shmuel and the Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu? The Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu, the ultimate Navi, right? Like Kam Yisrael, Kam Moshe Oid. The Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu was, in the words of the Mekubalim, or I should say my words based on the words of the Mekubalim, it was a sort of a cheating path, meaning he went to the highest world of Atzilus and he brought the Torah right to the lowest place of Asiya, and it didn't go through the process the Torah is supposed to go through, which is Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, Asiya, until it got to us. And because of that, the Bnei Yisrael said, whoa, we can't hear this. We can't listen to this. You listen, you tell us, and we'll hear it from you. And on this, Hashem said in Parshas V'eschan, and Moshe reported to the people, Hey Tivos Asher Tiberu. Hashem said, they're right about this. You can't hear directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu too much to hear something so spiritual with such physical ears. You can't hear it. What's the process where we can hear the Dvar Hashem? It's Moshe Kibel Torah Misinai, Masr Yeshua, Yeshua L'Zakenim, Zakenim L'Neviim. The Nevi'im, starting with Shmuel HaNavi and all the Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu, all of the Nevi'im, Memches Nevi'im, Zayin Nevi'ais, what they were able to do was to bring the Nevuah, read Shechina, to a place where the people were able to relate to it. You weren't bringing, there was no Hakshama of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but you were taking the Dvar Hashem and doing the tikkun, if you will, for what happened in Mount Torah, and you can argue even led to the Egel, because it was a madrega that was Lamala Mehem.
It's a gap, a void.
The void was too big. Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm afraid to say, but I'm going to have nightmares tonight, but Moshe Rabbeinu seemed to overjudge the koach of the Bnei Yisrael. And they died. Because I'll say they actually died. But the Nevi'im were approachable. You could approach a Navi. Devaris had under a timer, and you approached them. You could approach Nevi'im not just to tell you, is there going to be a war, or should we go to war, or who's going to be the prime minister. It wasn't just that. With personal things, which I do with my life. Everybody had an audience with a Navi to be able to that's what we say, Hashiva Shofteinu K'vereshenu V'yoatzeinu K'atzchila. So that the Gra says in the Siddur HaGra, Elu HaNevi'im, Shayu Yoatzim Li Yisrael. They were Yoatzim Yisrael, so it was a different, it was very down to earth, the Nevuah. But Ba'omek, let's understand what the paradigm shift that took place right now with Chana's Tefillah. Chana's Tefillah took the Shechina from a place that was completely unapproachable and brought it to a place that we could approach it. In other words, Chana's Tefillah was the Tefillah that went from Atzilus and brought everything to a place of Shmuel Hanavi and the Tkufas Hanavim. This is the Shem Tzvakos. The Shem Tzvakos, how do I know? Because it says in Reb Tzadok HaKohen in Koimetz HaMincha, which is a hard sefer of Reb Tzadok, but he says that Tzvakos, he talks about Tzvakos, he talks about the different Shemus of Hashem, the different Tzimtzumim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Umisham, from Tzvakos, hu Asagas HaNaviyim, comes Asagas HaNaviyim, HaMistaklim B'kvoid Havaya Al Yedei Malbushav, Shem Netzach V'Hoid, V'Lakach, Ad Chana. Notice, also, by the way, stumbled. I thought I stumbled. No, I'll tell you, very interesting about stumbling. It's like the Bible of having a bad memory. But I was looking for something, and then I found something that might be here, and then when I got there, the page was folded. So, I already had graffiti on this page and underlined. Ad Chana lo haya adam shekaro tzvakos. Ki ad Shmuel, why? Ki ad Shmuel haya dvar Hashem yakar, ein chazon nifratz. Ukanal midivrei hazayar. Bebrachis. Sheshmuel haya harishon la'orer hanavua shehu hahasaga b'shem tzvakos. V'lachein karasai Chana be'esh yispala al Shmuel b'shem zeh. Let's understand something. I think that Elkanah went to daven lizbayach lifnei Hashem tzvakos. There was a tkufa going on here. Mizakenim l'neviim. She ushered in a new tkufa. And that's why already, maybe it was Lamafreya, but already Elkanah was davening Ata Hashem tzvakos. It was the process of the Hashras Hashchina in this world, which is the whole purpose of the whole world anyways. The Hashras Hashchina finally came to a place where there could be a Basar V'Dam like Shmuel Hanavi, and it could be standing on, not climbing up mountains, but not lechem lo yachalti umayim lo shasisi, just a basar v'dam that had a nevuah. And the truth is, the Gemara says, from this point on, neviim hayu b'Yisrael kiflayim ki yotzei Mitzrayim. Millions of neviim. There were whole guilds of neviim. Why? Because neviim schools. Yeah, bnei ha-neviim. No, there was cities of Nevi'im, like today. There was whole. So in other words, once a tkufa begins, so what we're talking about, the Tfilas Chana, and why we learn everything from Chana. We learn Shemona Esrei from Chana. We learn Rosh Hashanah from Chana. We learn Yom Kippur from Chana. We learn Shulchan Aruch from Chana. Everything we learn from Chana. Why? Because Chana didn't just daven like Sarah davened or Rachel davened. Chana davened, and she ushered in a whole tkufa which allows us to daven in the way that we daven. Shemona Esrei brachas. Of course we have to learn everything because we have to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with a dalif nemiato oimed, which is almost an impossible. Remember we learned together, Reb Chaim Brisker, that this is ma'akiv tefillah. The dalif nemiato oimed, that's you're standing in front of Hashem. Armai, do I really hear you're not allowed to picture Hashem, you're not allowed to think of what Hashem looks like, but yet ma'akiv es hatefillah is dalif nemiato oimed, shivisi Hashem lenegdi samid. Shivisi Hashem lenegdi samid, that I have to picture Hashem. How do I picture Hashem? So it's a steer of b'nei yubei. It's ma'akiv tefillah, but you can't do it. So the answer is that we don't daven with our heads or our imagination, we daven with our hearts. And your heart where your brain is limited, your heart is unlimited. Like Rabbi Bluth said about Rav Moshe Feinstein, the heart was bli gvul. So what we're talking about in our tefillah, b'chol levavecha, if you had to daven b'chol roshcha, it would never happen. So this was the chidush, if you will, of Chana. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu did a tremendous chidush of bringing oh, Hashem is communicating with the earth. That's an amazing thing. This brought it to a whole different device of where everybody, starting with the Nevi'im, can communicate and stand before Hashem Tzvaka. This is Reb Tzadok Koimetz Mincha, page Mem Amud Beis. This is what Reb Tzadok teaches us for 2 pages long, that the whole Torah Shebal Peh, Mashachitshu Chachmei Yisrael Ukneses Yisrael Ayidei Hasagas Libam Umaycham Ritzayin Hashem Yisbarach. This is all tzvakos. Because tzvakos is very simple. I think in Hebrew it's very simple, because tzvakos means the people you see on the street, right? So in other words, it's the part of the Shemayim, the tzava, is we don't have access necessarily to the deep strategic security war rooms and all that, but you do see the guy on the street or the girl on the street. That's a siman that we can be a little bit comfortable. It's not, but you're not really getting the omek hadavar. So what happened over here is the whole Torah Shebal Peh, or the whole, as he says, the holy Sarusa de Lasato came about through Chana. So Chana was the machayev and the matter of our tefillah. Our whole tefillah is based on Chana. Hence, she's quoted so much. And with that, I will end and wish you a good Shabbos.
Ellie didn't chop it, what's going on? It's a whole new.
A whole new thing. A whole new thing. Eli couldn't chop it.
Split or Amida isn't patterned after.
It's what?
Split or Amida isn't patterned after Moshe's tefillah and the Hespenon, where it says he prayed 550.
It was better, and it didn't work because it wasn't. I'll explain to you the
Amida
site.
Pretty long.
Yeah. No, but let me explain to you the site hadavar. The site hadavar is that Moshe's tefillah was to go to Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is the midah of Gashmis. It's agricultural. It's earth. And the Gemara even says this: Moshe Peirus Utzarech. What's he going to do with fruit and farms? He's going to become a kibbutznik. Wanted to do the words. That's okay. Wanted to do the mitzvahs, but the point is that that Hashem thought otherwise. That wasn't his bechina. His bechina was a higher bechina.
That was my question. Let's say Hannah's prayers weren't answered. We wouldn't say that.
We have what we have because of Chana. We have what we have in terms of Hashras Hashchina and Nevuah and the Beis HaMikdash. Lizboyach Hashem Tzvakos B'Shilai.
But we know.
You have to understand Shiloh also. What was?
Elkanah, what is his?
Yeah.
What's the difference between Svakos